everyone. I am Manvi from Zenonco.io. It is an honor to have you on our platform. First, I would like to introduce our company, Zenonco.io, and Love Heals Cancer. We guide cancer patients in their treatment journey. Our company aims to extend the life and improve the quality of life for cancer patients through an integrative oncology treatment, which includes both complementary treatments as well as medical treatment. We provide end-to-end care to patients and also help with counseling, healing sessions, Ayurveda, medical cannabis, anti-cancer diet, awareness sessions, and pain and palliative care. This session is going to be all about spreading awareness and educating cancer patients. And for that, we have Dr. Harilal Dubaria with us. Let us take this opportunity to introduce him. Dr. Dubaria is a surgical oncologist in Rajkot with over 32 years of experience in oncology. Thank you, sir, for joining and taking time out for this. And I'm sure a lot of queries will be answered through this session. Sure, sir. So my first question is that what are the most common cancers where surgery is an important process during the treatment?
In our body, most common cancer, which is treated by surgery, as the breast cancer, head and neck cancer, colon cancer, and genitourinary cancer are most common and maximally treated with surgery.
So could you share your in-depth understanding with us on different types of procedures and surgeries involved, like endosurgery, laparoscopic surgery with regards to oncology?
In oncology, mainly the surgery as the radical one and almost always needs open surgery. I am much experienced with radical mastectomy, commando operation, esophagectomy, lower partial gastrectomy, hemicolectomy, Vardheim operation in CA cervix, surgery for CA ovary, almost always in open form, open surgery. Endosurgery is a new concept one, and I think it's not adequate for cancer patients for radical surgery.
Okay. So at what point is it essential to adopt surgery as a primary treatment approach? And when do you think that it's not possible to do a surgery?
Almost all initial cases of cancer, T1 lesion, T2 lesion, or in other words, stage 1, stage 2 disease, surgery is the most important therapy of treatment. And in case of advanced disease, maybe a stage 4, and in some cases of stage 3 disease, surgery may not be possible. When one cancer goes to one other organ like liver and lungs, in such cases, surgery is not possible.
So that we would call it metastasis of cancer.
Metastatic cancer, yeah.
Okay. So what is the minimal invasive supraomphoid neck dissection, that is MISOND, or endoscopic neck dissection?
It's a new concept of neck dissection. In our era, there was nothing like a minimal. We always do the radical. And nowadays, we do the modified radical neck dissection. Minimally invasive endoscopic neck dissection is still, I believe, it's not sufficient for the cancer patients. And we do open modified radical neck dissection by preserving internal jugular vein.
Okay. So can you talk something about advanced surgical recovery program and how does it help a patient?
Sorry?
Can you throw some light on advanced surgical program, recovery program?
Advanced.
Yes.
Advanced surgical means commando operation or means a radical in a more way, maximum removal of the tumor. But after all or overall, the results are not that much good.
Okay. So what comes under the purview of gynecological cancer and when is surgery needed for these cancers?
Gynecological, most common cancer is ovary, cancer ovary. Ovarian cancers in initial stage is a curative surgery by which we can offer a cure of cancer. Another one is CS cervix. That is also in stage 1 and 2. I operate the CS cervix. It's a curative one. And third one is the body uterus. That is up to third stage 3, it's a curable. And in an advanced case, patient needs either surgery associated or adjuvant chemotherapy or radiotherapy.
Okay. And what is the case for breast cancer?
Breast cancer, of course, it's a well controlled with surgery. Initial stage, first, second, and third stage disease, we can control with surgery. But most of the patient require post-op adjuvant therapy in the form of chemotherapy. And when the disease is infiltrating the skin or areola nipple, then we may need to give radiotherapy also.
Okay. So, how long does it take for a patient to recover from a surgery? And there are some side effects attached to it. So, what are the common side effects?
That depends upon the type of the surgery, disease of the patients. Suppose in case of a CA breast, I operate in the morning and I can discharge the patient in evening. Maybe discharge on next day. And patient is able to eat everything, move around in the room in the same day. When it is for the cancer colon, patient have to take IV fluid for few days, 3-4 days, and may needs hospitalization for 4-5 days. That depends of the disease and type of the surgery.
Okay. So, it's different for every different type of cancer.
Yeah, it's different for every patient, every disease, every type of cancer.
Okay. So, can you tell us something about colorectal cancer and how is surgery a method of treatment in it?
Yeah, I frequently operate on colorectal cancer. The most common site is rectosigmoid, where I do the anterior resection. And whenever the tumor is so low, then I do the abdominoperineal resection. Otherwise, resection and anastomosis, which can be named as right hemicolectomy, left hemicolectomy, and segmental resection of colon, and end-to-end anastomosis.
So, what is your take on preventive cancer surgeries and how do you decide whether a person should opt for it or not?
Actually, there is nothing like preventive cancer surgery. Any surgery that cannot prevent the cancer. But once you are in doubt, then you can remove the organ if it's not necessary. Preventive cancer surgery, you mean surgery to prevent the cancer? There is nothing like
Yes.
that.
Okay, but there are some cases where, especially I've seen in breast cancer, that women notice lumps and they get it removed instead of taking a risk and further development of cancer.
Usually in breast lump, we do the FNAC or true cut biopsy. We finalize the diagnosis and then we do the lumpectomy. Suppose without biopsy, we do the lumpectomy and specimen histology report comes positive for malignancy, then patient needs second surgery. So lumpectomy is not a preventive surgery. Any benign lump never becomes malignancy in whole life of the patient. So lumpectomy may be for benign disease, and for cancer, we have to investigate in detail because breast cancer is known to be a multicentric disease and almost always needs mastectomy.
Okay. So can a metastatic cancer be operated on and what are the risks if you operate on it and are there any other alternatives for it?
Usually, metastatic cancers are to be considered as a stage 4 disease. There is no role of surgery in stage 4 cancer disease. The left behind treatment is the chemotherapy only.
Okay, so that's the only alternative left in that case.
Yeah, chemotherapy.
Okay. Okay. So can you tell us more about biopsy and how does it help in further treatment?
Biopsy is the prime thing to do first. Suppose a general practitioner will do pyrexia with the paracetamol, and we consultant, I mean physician, will investigate the pyrexia and find out the cause of fever, like malaria, typhoid, whatever it may be, and then treat. Like that, biopsy is the main tools of cancer treatment by which we can understand the disease. We can understand the nature of the disease, which type of cancer is there, and accordingly we plan the surgery. There are so many cancers like lymphoma, which are so chemosensitive that does not require any surgery. That requires just biopsy and to stamp that this is the lymphoma, non-Hodgkin lymphoma, and then can be cured with chemotherapy. So biopsy is the most important thing in cancer therapy, cancer treatment, cancer management, and by which we can plan accordingly.
Okay. So the GI surgeon surgically treats the diseases of both upper and lower gastrointestinal. So can you please elaborate for us more on this and the difference between the both?
In upper GI, I operate for CS stomach in the form of partial gastrectomy, total gastrectomy. In esophagus, maybe Ivor Lewis operation, total esophagectomy. And in lower GI, mainly in colon, that I already mentioned, anterior resection, abdominoperidral resection, right hemicolectomy, and left hemicolectomy. These are the main name of the surgery in upper and lower GI malignancy.
Okay, sir. So in your entire medical experience of more than 32 years, what would you say is the most challenging or distinct case that you have come across?
Oh, almost always cancer is challenging one. But I remember one of my patient was having a RCC, renal cell carcinoma. We investigated in detail for renal cell carcinoma, and I found another second malignancy in left breast, right RCC and left breast. With the help of medical officer and other OT assistant, I did both at a time, radical nephrectomy and then radical mastectomy, both at a time, which was refused by even Tata Memorial Bombay.
Okay. So can you
And
share the response?
patient is doing well since last 5 years.
Okay, that's wonderful. So can you highlight the importance of self-examination and early detection of cancer?
Yeah, in a few cases, suppose in case of breast cancer, self-examination is most important because any cancer in early stage detection is very much important. Uh, by self-examination, ladies can uh, find disease in very early stage. Like that, oral examination is also one of the self-examination. In front of mirror, you can see your tongue, your buccal mucosa, your tonsil, lip, and other things, which are highly suspicious to malignancy in case of tobacco chewing habit person.
So what are the common cancers where self-examination is actually an effective method?
Mainly breast cancer and head and neck cancer.
Okay. So can you share your thoughts on misconceptions with regards to cancer in society?
Regarding?
Regarding cancer in the society. The
I can
misconceptions regarding cancer in society.
message.
The misconceptions, that is, people have different views which are not correct at times.
Perception.
Yeah.
In our country, the peoples are so uh, they have a many of perception. They believe. Yesterday, I got a one patient with a big lump in the breast. I asked, uh, how much time you have at this lump? अरे साहब ये इंजेक्शन लिया ना वैक्सीन का तब से हो गया. You can't correlate with his thinking. Never in any vaccine never induce a breast cancer. So lady was correlating breast cancer with corona vaccine. So it's a always misconception, misperception.
So you might have
In
come
almost
across many
in
such.
almost all type of cancer, patients have misconception. Society has always misguiding the patient.
Okay, and how do you feel we can fill this gap and cover the, the perceptions of the people?
Education, society education, social
Okay.
education करना पड़ेगा तो बहुत तकलीफ है.
Okay, sir. And lastly, I would like to know your views and how Zenonco.io is helping in this awareness.
Your voice is very low. I can't understand.
I'm saying, sir, that I would like to know your views on how Zenonco.io is helping in spreading awareness for cancer.
Oh. Jane Oncoded have to, first of all, educate the peoples, educate the society, make us some like camps and everything. And we have to eradicate the misconception of society.
So,
Early detection is most important. So by camp and uh, this, we can detect the cancer earlier. And of course, like tobacco and everything should quit the people. Habit should quit.
okay.
People should
So
quit habit.
that's
Yeah.
true. So thank you so much, sir, for your valuable inputs and for being with us during today's knowledge sharing session. You took time out from your busy schedule to be with us and to share so many insights. I'm sure so many people will benefit from this session. So thank you once again from Zenonco.io and Love Means Cancer for this insightful session on our platform.
Okay, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.